Hi, everyone, and welcome to my session all about accelerating action, empowering change for a better tomorrow. I am super excited to be with you here today, so let's get stuck in. On the agenda for today, we are going to chat about what International Women's Day is and why it's so important, why diversity in young minds matter, how technology is being used to accelerate action and create a better tomorrow, how your career choices can make a difference, and we will finish off by discussing some proactive things that you can do to make a difference. But before we dive into the main content of the session, I want to take a moment to introduce myself a little bit further. So, as I've been introduced, my name's Jade. I am 26 years old. I went to university when I was 21 and gained a Bachelor's of Science in Computer Networking and Cybersecurity. I'm currently working in a graduate role in the cybersecurity team at a financial and technology company called Sage. I live and work in Newcastle upon Tyne, which is in the UK. Outside of work, I love reading fantasy books and enjoying the great outdoors, either going on hikes or horse riding. And there is a reason that I'm telling you all of this information about myself. And the reason is everything from my background, my age, my interests, and my job is what makes me unique. The experiences that I've had help me bring diverse skills, perspectives, and ideas to my job. And that's the power of diversity. It's not just about who we are, but how our unique journeys contribute to innovation, problem solving, and creating a better future together. But diversity and inclusion don't just happen on their own. They require action, awareness, and a commitment to change. And that's exactly what International Women's Day is all about. So you might be wondering what International Women's Day is, although I can imagine you've covered that a lot so far this week. But International Women's Day, which is typically on the 8th of March, is a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. The day also marks a call to action for accelerating women's equality. International Women's Day is an important day for reflection, celebration, and action. It shines a global spotlight on the achievements of women throughout history and today. But it's also a day to recognise the barriers that women have faced and in many cases continue to face. Barriers like limited access to education, unequal opportunities in the workplace, challenges in access in healthcare, and underrepresentation in leadership. These are challenges that persist in many parts of the world, and International Women's Day serves as a reminder of these disparities, whilst also acting as a rallying cry for change. And as Serena Williams so beautifully put it, every woman's success should be an inspiration to another. We're strongest when we cheer each other on. Her words are a powerful reminder that change doesn't happen in isolation. It happens when we celebrate one another, lift each other up, and work together to accelerate action towards a more equitable world. Leadership is one of the most important ways we can promote diversity, equity, and inclusion. Being an ally means using your voice, your actions, and your privilege to support and uplift others, especially those who are underrepresented or marginalised. Allyship in practice means listening and taking time to understand the challenges that women and people face, speaking up to challenges and unfair practices of bias when you see them, helping to remove barriers and build bridges to make sure everybody has equal opportunities, and mostly being consistent with these actions. Being an ally isn't just a one time action, it's a commitment and it's a continuous effort. When it comes to International Women's Day, allyship is critical because it's not just about celebrating women's achievements, it's about taking action to create environments where women can thrive. So, I want to move on and show some statistics on why initiatives like International Women's Day are so important. For context, to help you understand this slide, the Gender Equality Index gives the EU and member states a score between 1 and 100, and a score of 100 would mean that that country had reached full equality between women and men. So, the Gender Equality Index for the EU in 2024 stands at 71 out of 100. Breaking this down, health equality was given the highest score of 88.6, showing that healthcare was relatively equitable across the EU. On the other hand, power equality was given the lowest score of 61.4, highlighting the underrepresentation of women in decision making roles in industry. These scores collectively show us that whilst progress has been made, there are areas, particularly in power and knowledge, where significant action is needed. It's also important to note that achieving gender equality doesn't just benefit women, it benefits society as a whole, contributes to economic growth, innovation, and overall well-being. There are some further statistics I want to highlight that demonstrate the pressing gender inequalities that women and girls face globally. So, on average, women spend 2.5 times more hours on unpaid domestic care work than men. This burden is even more pronounced in regions like Northern Africa and Western Asia, where traditional gender roles are deeply entrenched. This imbalance restricts women's access to education, career opportunities, and financial independence. Secondly, an estimated 640 million girls and women worldwide were married in childhood, with one third of these cases occurring in India alone. And whilst progress has been made, child marriage rates have decreased from 1 in 4 girls being married under 18 to 1 in 5 over the last 25 years, but these numbers are still far too high. This slide aims to highlight some of the critical health challenges that impact billions of people globally. So, the proportion of people unable to access essential healthcare services has improved by about 15% between the year 2000 and 2021. However, progress has significantly slowed since 2015, leaving approximately 4.5 billion people without coverage in 2021. This lack of access hinders the ability to prevent and treat diseases, leading to poorer health outcomes and higher mortality rates, especially in lower income regions. And another example of health inequality is demonstrated by health related financial hardship. So, out of pocket health spending continues to be a major issue. In 2019, it impacted 2 billion people worldwide, with 1 billion people facing catastrophic health expenditures. And more concerningly, 344 million people were pushed into extreme poverty due to these expenses. This shows the urgent need for policies that improve healthcare access and affordability. And this slide addresses some of the pressing challenges in global education. So, progress in achieving global education equality has been disappointingly slow. By 2019, only 58% of students worldwide were able to achieve minimum proficiency in reading. And globally, education systems are not meeting the needs of all learners. Only 50% of primary schools and 62% of secondary schools have the basic infrastructure required to support students with disabilities. This lack of accessibility creates further barriers for children with disabilities, preventing them from achieving their full potential. And the final statistics I want to show you highlight some key insights into gender representation in STEM and AI fields. So, this bar graph shows clearly the disparity in representation between women and men in STEM roles. Whilst men dominate both STEM and non STEM roles, the underrepresentation for women is particularly apparent in STEM fields. This gap highlights the systemic barriers that women face when entering and advancing in technology related careers. However, on a more positive note, LinkedIn data has revealed encouraging progress, and the concentration of female talent in AI has more than doubled since 2016. This demonstrates the impact of targeted initiatives, mentoring, and awareness campaigns aimed at increasing diversity in AI. The statistics I've shown you underscore the persistent gaps and challenges in achieving equality across various sectors, but they also highlight some opportunities for growth. And that's growth that can be driven by embracing diversity. So, diversity matters, not just as a concept, but as a practical strategy for progress and innovation. And there are many reasons why. When people from different backgrounds, experiences, and cultures come together, they bring fresh ideas and unique approaches to problem solving. For example, diverse teams in tech have been shown to develop products that better serve a wide range of customers because they account for varying needs and varying viewpoints. Inclusion means everyone feels valued, respected, and empowered to contribute. A truly inclusive environment enables individuals to thrive and perform their best, knowing that their ideas and efforts are recognized. As you've seen, diversity drives progress, and this principle can also be applied to empowering the voices of the younger generation. Young minds bring fresh perspectives, unbridled creativity, and a sense of urgency that often inspires global change. Here on the left, we see Boyan Slat, who is a Dutch inventor and environmentalist. At just 16 years old, he founded the Ocean Cleanup, an organization aimed to rid the ocean of plastic pollution. His innovative solutions using large scale systems to clean up the Great Pacific Garbage Patch have transformed the way we think about environmental sustainability and cleanup efforts. On the right is Greta Thunberg, a Swedish climate activist whose school strike for climate change in 2018 sparked a global movement. Greta has become an iconic voice in the fight against climate change, urging leaders worldwide to take immediate and meaningful access. These two individuals exemplify why young minds matter. They are proof that age is no barrier to create an impactful change. Now, let's take a closer look at diversity within the company I work for and how it aligns with broader industry trends. So, the cybersecurity industry as a whole has significant work to do to improve gender representation. According to data from May 2024, women make up just 17.9% of the cybersecurity industry, whilst men accounted for 82.1%. This shows just how underrepresented women are in this field. At Sage, we're actively working to change this narrative. In January 2024, women comprised 27% of our cybersecurity workforce. By December of the same year, we'd increased that number to 32%. Whilst we're proud of this progress, we know there's still a lot more to achieve. Looking ahead, Sage has set clear and ambitious goals that by the end of 2025, we'll aim to have a gender split of 40% women, 60% men, or better within the cybersecurity team. Our efforts at Sage serve as an example of what is possible when companies prioritize diversity and inclusion. But how did we achieve this? Firstly, we started by delivering diversity, equity, and inclusion workshops, which were to raise awareness and help employees understand and appreciate diverse perspectives and practices. Our talent team worked tirelessly to support underrepresented groups such as minorities or people with disabilities through the recruitment process. And as demonstrated on the previous slide, we set measurable goals for diversity within hiring and retention. And finally, we shared successes and celebrated milestones in diversity efforts to reinforce commitments across the company. So, what role does technology play in all of this? Well, technology can be used as a tool to help improve equality around the world. If we dive deeper into how technology is being used to improve factors relating to Sustainable Development Goal 3, which is good health and well-being, there are three main areas that come to mind. Firstly, remote healthcare. Specifically, think about healthcare accessibility during COVID 19. When it was unsafe to leave the house for elderly or immunocompromised individuals, telemedicine helped these people access care without risking their health through exposure. And next, we have AI for disease diagnosis. AI tools like Google DeepMind are used to diagnose diseases such as breast cancer, and they are often used earlier and more accurately. These tools can sometimes detect abnormalities faster than a human specialist could. And finally, we have improved health monitoring through wearable or carryable devices. So, devices like Garmin's, Fitbits, and Apple Watches rely on technology to track vital signs, and then they use this data to encourage preventative care and healthy lifestyles. But SDG 3 is not the only area that's seen improvement through technology. SDG 4, quality education, has also reaped the benefits. Think of e-learning platforms. Again, thinking back to COVID-19 pandemic, platforms like Google Classroom allowed millions of students to continue learning remotely, reducing the impact that the global pandemic had on their education. Technology has also introduced novel ways of learning like gamification. So we have apps like Duolingo and Quizlet, making learning engaging and accessible through gameable approaches. Without technology, we wouldn't be able to build the applications to do this. And then we also have improvements in assistive technologies for inclusive education. Tools like Microsoft's Immersive Reader have leveraged the recent enhancements in natural language processing of AI models to support students with dyslexia by improving reading comprehension. And finally, for SDG 5, gender equality. Improvements in technology have allowed women to access education skills and training that is specifically tailored for them. So we have e-learning platforms like She Codes offering tech training and STEM skills to women, which in turn increases women's representation in tech. Next, we have financial inclusion with digital payments. So we have mobile banking apps like M-Pesa, empowering women in rural areas, giving them access to financial services. And finally, we have health apps that are designed specifically for women. Apps like Clue and Flow provide women with tools to help track their menstrual health. And in developing regions, these technologies are helping to break taboos and stigma. So we've learned how technology is being used as a tool to improve different SDGs, but how is technology being used to accelerate action in different industries? Firstly, in the financial services industry, technology has been used to automate manual processes, enhance security, and in driving inclusion by bringing banking and digital services online. These changes help financial services be more accessible, secure, and user friendly for individuals. It also allows users in remote parts of the world access to financial support. Next, we have the retail and e commerce industry. Technology is being used to enhance customer experiences, improve operational efficiency, and cater to evolving consumer demands. An important sector that's benefiting from technology is the energy and sustainability sector. Companies in this industry are using technology to address climate change and global inequalities. We have one company called Tesla Solar Roof that makes renewable energy more accessible. So, communities in rural Africa are now gaining access to electricity through affordable solar panels, all thanks to new technologies. And finally, we see the agriculture and farming industries utilizing technology to address global challenges like food shortages, climate change, and population growth. At Sage, we are deeply committed to addressing gender inequalities and reducing underrepresentation in technology. One way that we do this is by organizing impactful STEM events designed to inspire and empower the next generation of female leaders. A great example of this is as our Empower Cyber event, which is a 2-day educational initiative supported by local, national, and international businesses. This event is specifically aimed at high school age girls, showcasing the diversity and excitement of careers in IT, technology, AI, and cybersecurity. Ultimately, our goal is to bridge the gender gap in technology and improve diversity in fields that are traditionally male dominated. Through initiatives like Empower, we are not just showcasing opportunities available, but actively building pathways for girls to step into these roles. So now you've learned why diversity is so important and how technology is being used to improve global inequalities. But how can we use our careers to accelerate action and make positive global changes? When you think about a career in technology, it's easy to assume that it's all about coding or being a developer, but in reality, the tech industry is incredibly diverse, offering opportunities in a wide range of roles. If you choose a career in technology, you can serve as an innovator on some of the world's biggest challenges, be it sustainability, inequality, or access to healthcare. For example, as a machine learning engineer, you could create AI models that detect diseases earlier, improving lives globally. In cybersecurity, you might protect critical infrastructure or ensure secure access to resources, driving trust and inclusion. A role like user experience or user interface designer enables you to make technology more accessible and inclusive, breaking barriers for those who struggle with traditional tools. So, if you're considering a career in technology, one of the most important things is building the right technical skills. AI and machine learning are at the heart of some of the most exciting developments in technology today. By developing algorithms, you may enable machines to solve problems and tasks that normally require human intelligence. Cloud computing is the backbone of modern technology. It's how companies are delivering services, store data, and scale their operations. Cybersecurity, it's all about protecting systems, data, and networks from attacks. And of course, programming is a foundational skill in technology. Writing code is the tool that you'll use to create apps, websites, automations, and more. However, we can't just look at technical skills. We need to talk about soft skills too. These are often overlooked but absolutely crucial for success in technology. First up, we have communication. In tech roles, you'll often work with people who have different expertise, from engineers to stakeholders to clients. You need to be able to clearly express your ideas and understand others to make sure that everybody is on the same page. Next, collaboration. Technology projects are rarely done in isolation. Whether it's designing an app or rolling out a new system, you'll likely be working with a team. Then we have problem solving. Tech is all about solving problems, whether it's debugging a program or optimizing a system. Being able to approach challenges logically and creatively is an invaluable skill. And finally, analytical skills. In a world where data is everywhere, the ability to collect, analyze, and draw meaningful insights from information can set you apart. So, what can you do to help accelerate action this International Women's Day? Each of us has a role to play in driving global equality, and it starts with small, meaningful steps. There are four main actions we can all take. The first step is to educate ourselves, learn about gender inequalities, learn about the biases that exist and the challenges that women face in various industries. By understanding these issues, we can raise awareness and share knowledge with our friends, families, and communities. Next, we can challenge stereotypes and bias. We can speak up when you hear biased comments and encourage open and inclusive conversations. Next, we can actively support and celebrate the people around you. This doesn't just have to be women. We should recognize and celebrate the achievements of others, offer encouragement, and be a champion for others' aspirations and goals. And finally, take small but impactful actions every day. Advocate for equal opportunities in your school, workplace, or community. And by focusing on these steps, educating, challenging, supporting, and taking action, we can each play a part in creating a more inclusive world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Amazing. Thank you so much for your presentation. I'm going to open the Q&A session now. So please put your questions in the Q&A. First question, how will AI help women that can't use modern technologies, like they don't have access to those technologies?
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one. So, AI will be used more to make sure that they have access to those technologies. I don't think if they don't already have access, AI is going to help us make solutions so that they do have access and then can get more equal opportunities that way by accessing technology, financial applications, that sort of thing.
Thank you. I'm going to move on to the next question. Can you tell us more about user experience or user analysis design? I think I got
Yeah, of course.
it right.
User experience is all about making sure that every user who uses an application has a good experience. So, whether that's an adult, a child, somebody with a disability, a hearing impairment, maybe, it's making sure that everybody has like an equal and good experience with an application, and it's designing those to make sure that everybody has that experience when they use them. That is the foundations of the role and what you would do if you did that job.
Thank you. How will AI help solve problems of gender inequalities in countries?
Yeah, great question. So, a couple of examples from the presentation are relevant. So, we've got AI helping women make informed decisions. So AI can be used as an educational tool. So maybe if they didn't have access to education, they can use AI to learn and upskill. But then we also have AI drive-in solutions like education online and things like that, so they can access it in more remote parts of the world where women typically don't have access to education.
Thank you so much. And we're just going to finish off with one more question as we've only got 1 minute left.
Sure.
Um, is AI more effective in educating people, especially women, if they aren't experienced with computers?
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily more effective. I just think it's maybe a more accessible tool. So not everybody can go to school, not everybody can afford to go to university, whereas AI online at the moment can be free. So as long as you have internet access, you would be able to get that education. So I think that it's not necessarily better, it's just maybe more accessible.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jade. Once again, thank you so much to our partners, Sage, Sage Foundation, and Red Hat for making this event possible.